So we'll take up this paragraph, arrived from the other side of boundlessness. Anyone who wants to go over it again, and then we can discuss it.
I haven't read. Yeah. Ketan, you want to go?
Yes, Radhana ji, it's okay, you go ahead.
Okay. Arrived from the other side of boundlessness, an eye of deity peered through the dumb deeps, a scout in a reconnaissance from the sun. It seemed, amid a heavy cosmic crept, the torpor of a sick and weary world, to seek for a spirit, soul, and desolate, too fallen to recollect forgotten place.
Yeah.
So you want me to go ahead or only?
No, this much is enough. This much is enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So we had discussed this last time. It's again, referring to the imagery, what happens during a dawn, every day, each day, how a dawn arrives, indicating towards some higher truth, and at the same time also psychological perspective. So whenever we see a kind of a ray of light or ray of hope in our lives, in our usual lifeless lives, but something gives us life, something comes as if giving us a signal indicating to other side of boundlessness, not from the material realm, as if somewhere in the higher planes, from the higher planes. So like that, also indicating to the imagery of the dawn, an eye of deity peered through the dumb deeps, the mindless, senseless deeps. Usually a rut of life goes on and on and on forever. But when this hope comes, when this light comes, it takes us to this other realm which usually in our life is not reachable, not accessible. As if a scout in a reconnaissance from the sun, we had discussed this last time. So reconnaissance, it's a military term where if you have to do a jaisa of the front area, you send a person who is a scout to do the, kind of a survey of the front area, what is there, where is the call coming from. So this is in response to the human aspiration, in response to our yearning to find a higher truth. Now this eye of deity, it's like a descent of ray of light. और क्या भेजा गया है? It's like a scout is sent to do the muayana, to do the dora and survey. Where is this call coming from? To check who is aspiring, where is this soul who is aspiring. So that light is sent as a response to the aspiration in all of us. A scout in a reconnaissance from the sun, it seemed heavy amid a heavy cosmic rest, the torpor of a sick and weary world, the kind of lives we live. Usually we become so entangled in the routines of the life, although we are knowing that it has become a routine and there is no life that I find in it, but it still goes on and on and on. So that tamas, that inertia of a sick and weary world, now what is it seeking? This scout which has been sent from the sun is seeking for a spirit, soul and desolate, too fallen to recollect forgotten bliss. Now the spirit, which is actually coming from nowhere else but the divine consciousness, because of the fall from the divine consciousness, which is actually a chosen thing, nobody can say, कि मेरे को यहाँ क्यों फेंका गया. We have chosen it. We may not just remember it, right? So forgotten about the journey we have to begin, being a human. We have forgotten why we are here. Why have I, on the earth taken a human birth? The adventure that I kind of plunged myself into, I have completely forgotten about it. Now we'll come to this forgetfulness later also after a few lines. I think there it will become more clear. So this forgetfulness is very important as well. Alongside its disadvantages, it has its own advantages. Too fallen to recollect forgotten bliss. And this is the reason why when we are on our journey called life, our spiritual journeys, we see that although we see light in life somewhere, there are windows shown to us where I see that if I invest some time there, more of light will come. But still I'm not able to spend time there. My routines pull me again and again. Mindless routines pull me again and again. So that is what it's saying, Baba again and again. This is a repetition that it's too fallen in the inconscience to recollect the bliss that it is coming from and the bliss that it is capable of in this life. The spirit has forgotten, the soul has forgotten. Yeah. And this dawn comes as a reminder that what else is possible apart from the mechanical routines. So let's go ahead. If anything from here, you can please feel free to ask. I'll try as much as I can to answer. And further intervening in a mindless universe until compelled to renewed consent to see and feel. Yeah, Reggie, I'm also recording, by the way, in, my phone. Yeah, just go ahead, please. Anyone? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
If you're walking in a mindless river, its message crept through the reluctant hush, calling the adventure of consciousness and joy, and conquering nature's disillusioned breast. Compelled renewed consent to see and feel.
Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, thank you. So look at these lines again, once again. Now this is also referring to the dawn, because so far there has been darkness, and now darkness means a mindlessness, a soullessness, referring to that darkness as well in our lives. Now this dawn, when it appears, the colors, the hues that it shows, what happens? It intervenes as if in a mindless universe. So far the universe has been mindless, soulless, lifeless. All the patterns are running me, all the tendencies are running me. I don't even have that consciousness to look at my own patterns. I don't use it, it is there, but I don't use it. Now this message, the scout that has been sent by the sun is referring to the divine consciousness. The message of the scout creeps through a reluctant hush. Reluctant because we are not ready yet. All parts in our being are not ready yet to receive the divine grace. I may say that somebody maybe put yourself on mute. So I may say that I seek light, but many parts of me are not yet ready for the light. So what happens is, there is a reluctance around this hush as well. I somehow want this tamas to go on because I don't want to move. It will be uncomfortable to move. It will be uncomfortable to change my old routines and follow something new, although that something new may give me joy, but just the inertia of not able to move from one's tendencies. So this message of the dawn message creeps through this mindless universe and creeps through the reluctance of the universe of not wanting to change. इतना strong message है कि आप उसको ignore नहीं कर पाते. Such a strong message. It will keep on coming back to your memories. That point of time in my life, I saw this ray of light and I wish I could have followed it. For example, just an example, right? So one cannot ignore when light comes in any form in our lives, right? So this is an unwilling reluctance owing to the inertia of the tendencies, calling the adventure of consciousness and joy. Now this light, that scout that comes from the sun, what it does is it gives the message as if it's calling all of us, calling the sleeping universe so far for this adventure of consciousness and joy. Because there is a lot of progress and lot of kind of adventure along with joy associated with this path that we all have taken. The more we look at ourselves, become conscious of our patterns, along with the pain, because pain comes when we leave our old tendencies and patterns. Along with that, a progress also comes, and that progress is full of adventure and joy, the joy we all seek in our lives. So this is an inner joy. No, you don't have to be dependent on anyone on this joy. You are looking at yourself, being conscious of yourself, and this consciousness is the light with which now you are looking at your so far dark contents in the being. This being aware of your own movements is the light of the divine. The more I am, as if, imagine that my being is a full dark room, and the moment I am becoming conscious of that dark room, all the movements now become visible. Now they begin to be, they are visible now. I can see those movements. I can objectify those movements. I can transform those movements. So far, they were invisible. But now with my awareness, I am making them visible. कि मामला क्या चल रहा है अंदर. This is the adventure that we are here for as humans. Sorting ourselves, rearranging ourselves, becoming conscious of my own impulses. Why do I do what I do? Is there any other possibility? Can I choose? And that brings us joy, because that also is freedom. Now you are not tied to the tendencies. You may have tendencies, but now you also have awareness of a free will, either to attach to the tendency in one moment or do something else, maybe break that pattern and create a new pattern, right? So this freedom comes only after the light of consciousness is lit. And conquering nature's disillusioned breast, compelled renewed consent to see and feel. Now what is happening? Nature is our sanskar, the thing that comes to us being born in this material form, and also coming from past lives. Now as if this light, that when it dawns upon, what is it trying to do? It is conquering the nature's disillusioned breast. So nature ने तो give up कर दिया है tendencies से, भाई मैं तो ऐसी हूँ, मुझे अपनाना है तो अपनाओ, नहीं तो आगे अगली गली में जाओ. So nature is like that. A pattern, a tendency is very strongly in its own movement, in its own inertia. It doesn't want to move from that boundary. But when this light comes from the divine, the light of awareness, the light of consciousness, as if it conquers that disillusioned breast, it is able to overcome the kind of I would say stagnancy of my own nature. Now I can no more say that I am like that, because now I am able to see, look at my movements, and also have the ability to change it. So वो जो nature था मेरा, मुझे वो नीचे नहीं खींच पा रहा अब. Now as if the nature has given consent कि हाँ, I will collaborate in this transformation. So it's like that, compelled, renewed consent to see and feel. So now, as if I am, because of this light that is present in my world now, I am compelled to look at my own self, my own movements, my own being, which was not possible earlier. It's only because of this light coming in my life, right? Which now is able to conquer even nature. Now nature says, अब मैं भी तुम्हारे साथ चलूंगी. I am with you in this transformation. Yeah. Anything from this? Okay. I'm assuming that's a nothing. So let's go ahead. And also compelled, this word called compelled. Usually we are not ready to look at ourselves. If I see myself, it takes courage to look at myself. It takes a lot of ruthlessness to look at myself. So when this light of consciousness, of awareness comes in my life as a gift from the divine grace, then it becomes impossible to ignore my own movements. Impossible. अब light पड़ रही है अगर एक कमरे में, which was so far dark, how can you not look at the contents? It is impossible, right? So now, because of the compulsion of the light, I am able to look, see and feel my own being, my own movements. So anybody from you can maybe take up these lines, or maybe until here, this we can do later. Yeah, these four lines.
I can go. A thought was sown in the unsounded void. A sense was born within the darkness depths. A memory quivered in the heart of time, as if a soul long dead were moved to live.
Beautiful. Thank you. So now, owing to the presence of this tiny streak of light, what is happening? A thought was sown in the unsounded void. A void which is unsounded. Unsounded means उसकी depths इतनी गहरी हैं, हमारी नींद की depths इतनी गहरी है कि उसका कोई अंदाजा ही नहीं है. Unsounded, because if you can, जैसे कोई कुआं है, there is a well, you put a stone down, so if it touches the ground, it sounds, and there the depth of the void. But this void is as if the depths are fathomless. We also came across this word earlier, fathomless, zero. So the depths are not even measurable depths. And in those depths, just owing to the light that came from the dawn in our life, a thought was sown, a conscious thought, that some possibility is there of some other life, of some other higher possibility is there, which was so far a senseless and a thoughtless universe. In that universe, now owing to the light of the dawn, a thought was sown in the unsounded void. A sense was born within the darkness depths. Again referring to, unsounded void, darkness depths of even the darkness. वहाँ पे क्या movement हो रहा है? Some possibility, some stir is happening. A sense was born, right? So now I related this with the, when it says a sense was born. The more you become conscious of your own being, the more you get touch with your inner truth. You sense that there is something called my swadharma. There is something called my inner truth. And I feel uneasy when I am not aligned with my inner truth. So I become sensitive to that. A sense was born. within the darkness depths. So far, my inner truth was elusive. I was not able to see that something like that can be there. But the more I become aware of my own contents, I get in touch with this little space inside me, which can be called inner truth, my swadharma, and I'll be doing adharma if I go against that inner truth. And this inner truth is individual for each and every person. And that in that way we are really unique, all of us. We may look as all of us, just like we are human beings, all of us are one, but there is also a uniqueness to each one of us, and each one of us has a particular inner truth to follow, dharma to follow. Now, owing to this light that comes in my life, I become aware of this swadharma. And now, as I am becoming more sensitive to my swadharma, I realize the times when I feel uneasy, when I am not aligned with my swadharma. Right? So, a sense is coming, which was not there earlier. A memory quivered in the heart of time. Now, this light that has come, because owing to that, some memory of a higher possibility, some memory, very vague. I don't even know where is it coming from, which past life, क्या मैं हूँ कौन, वो उसका तो कोई idea ही नहीं है. Who am I? Where am I coming from? No idea about that. But owing to the light, a memory quivered, as if a ripple in my being, arises because of that light, that it wants to show at least something new to me which I am not aware of, in the heart of time. Because our lives happen in time. I keep on taking births one after the other, so it is happening in time. And through that time, all the past lives I may have lived, unconscious, half conscious. Now, because of the light, a memory shows a higher possibility, as if a soul long dead were moved to live. So earlier we went across these lines where this soul was referred to as survivor of a slain and buried past. So there is something in us which lives no matter how many deaths we have gone through. That something now gets touched upon, that light of the divine, if I can say, that gets touched upon. A soul long dead. Why long dead? Because I have been living in routines since I don't know when. Lost touch with that soul at all. And that is why long dead. But it's not completely dead. It appears as if long dead. As if a soul long dead were now moved to live. अब उसको light, क्योंकि light इतनी, the intensity of the light is such that one cannot ignore. And that is why even a long dead soul is now moving, as if getting awakened to live again. Just like, when we are sleeping in the morning and light comes through our curtains, how far you can, be asleep. It's not possible that you are asleep for a longer time. Not possible at all. So that's what the strain it gives. The light gives a strain on us to get up and rise. So maybe these next 4 lines someone of you can take.
Go?
Yeah.
With the oblivion that succeeds the fall, had blotted the crowded tablets of the past, and all that was destroyed must be rebuilt, and the old experience labored out once more.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, although there is some happening where someone is trying to rise up, but the forgetfulness is also very, very strong, very strong. So it said, but the oblivion that succeeds the fall of the soul from the divine consciousness into the inconscient, this forgetfulness, the oblivion, the soul has forgotten all about its divine origin. But the oblivion that succeeds, and yeah, I wanted to share on this. Now there is a reason why the soul consciously chooses not to remember all that. See, imagine, I think we touched upon it earlier as well. Imagine I am going to an adventure in a forest. Now the very fact that it is an adventure will give me more joy and more progress to look forward to new things when I am totally unaware of the terrain. If I have a complete map with me, where are the restaurants in the forest, where is the place to pee, and where is the river, all such things, then it's not much of joy, as if somebody takes away my joy. So when I'm completely forgetful of this terrain consciously, I have chosen to be forgetful so that I can rediscover through that adventure the joy that comes after a discovery. So the very fact that all of us have forgotten that we have something called a soul, and some of us maybe even now feel skeptical that there is something called a soul. This is the very adventure that we embarked upon. And now I am really full of joy when I discover what I did not have earlier. If I already knew, yes, there is something called a soul and it's full of light and bliss and joy, no fun. So going through the darkness and then stumbling upon a light, this is the joy of progress. So now coming back to the lines again, but the oblivion that succeeds the fall had blotted the crowded tablets of the past. Now this is referring to these crowded tablets. So ancient Romans used the tablets, wooden tablets on which there would be wax and there would be a stylus like a pen through which they can write any message on it. These messages were sent through messengers, to other people where they wanted to send the messages. And these were reusable tablets. So once you can blot out, erase the the writing on the wax, and then it can be reused again. The same wax can be reused for another message. So those of you who are interested, maybe you can have a look later on Google about these things. So it is like that. When we come into ignorance, when the soul falls into this material world, takes a human birth and all other births, all the past memories are erased, like a tablet which is full of memories of the past, crowded tablet, has gotten blotted now. It's like completely clean slate. And all that was destroyed must be rebuilt. An old experience labored out once more. And earlier we gotten across these lines that, I don't know, was it earlier or maybe I went through somewhere else, that the human soul forgets to bear the pang and forget the bliss. This is the choice that we make, to bear the pang of separation, to go through that darkness, and to forget the bliss where I am coming from originally. So this is how the memories of the past is completely erased from my consciousness. And what is now to be done? Now I have to redo the whole struggle of coming back into touch with my divine essence. That there is something called a soul, a divine essence within me, and it's not only darkness that is there. all that attempt has to be done again. All that was destroyed must be rebuilt, and old experience labored out once more. So there is one comment from mother on it, that it seems destroyed, but it's actually not destroyed. It is just lying latent and hidden. Nothing is destroyed. Soul cannot get destroyed. But the crowd of tamas, the crowd of ignorance is so much, so overpowering, that it appears as if it's destroyed. And that is why effort has to be put into waking up to our own self. Labor has to be done, effort has to be done. As Kabir says, कि जब तक मेरे पिंजर में सांस है तब तक मुझे सतर्क रहना है. As long as I have life in the body, I'll have to be vigilant, because unconsciousness can creep in any time. So that is an effort that needs to be done. And again, it's a free will. The effort is totally up to us, whether I want to put effort or I want to enjoy tamas. Totally is up to us. Yeah. Okay. Now just one line, if any one of you can, just one line, this one line.
All can be done if the God touch is there.
Yeah, beautiful. Now what is happening? So it seems as if I'll never be able to wake up to the divine essence that dawn hints at. It seems, because the force of inconscient is so strong all around. Look at people, how they pull us down, for example, many a times. And you will find many people around you who would maybe make sarcastic jokes on you, that कि ये कौन सा path पकड़ लिया. So it seems impossible, but all can be done if the God touch is there. If you are hand in hand with the divine grace, or if I can say, if you are below the umbrella of the divine grace, all can be done. All can be done if the God touch is there. Now, only thing that we have to be aware of this God touch. Rest all is possible. Because what happens is, again and again, through my tendencies, through my vrittis and patterns of previous life and even this life, the older years, I shoo away the God touch. I shoo away the divine grace. And here is where I need to be very, very conscious. In what ways am I shooing away the divine grace? The patterns, the tendencies will not let divine grace easily come in. They are fine in themselves. They are running your life robotically. But if I now become conscious, become kind of a master of my own life, want to become a master of my own life, then I have to consciously be aware of this God touch. All can be done if the God touch is there. And we have to remember that this as mother says on these lines, she says this ascent from a stone, being a stone, to a plant, being an animal, then going through several human births, and then the ascent to the supreme. This ascent took 1,000 years. It's after 1,000 years that we are here today as human beings, maybe more than that. And it was only possible because the God touch was there. The divine came down. The power of love from the divine came down, so that it can bring up the inconscient once again back to the divine consciousness. So we are not alone. The divine grace is the one that is making things possible for us. We are never alone. But one has to reaffirm, because somehow, owing to the lifestyles we live and the words we hear more and more often around ourselves, they are pulling down in nature. So what you do, you reaffirm. You either stop listening to those things that pull you down and listen to only those things that push you forward, push you towards your future, push you towards a higher possibility. Only listen to those words. Even the thoughts, many a times I myself have thoughts where they pull us down. Don't listen to those thoughts. Transform them, invert them. That is the capacity that human beings have. Inverting the thoughts, changing the nature of the thoughts. Why not use it? So if, for example, coronavirus is going on and I am all the time scared, just if for a moment I realize, hey, what am I doing, man? Virus aayega jab aayega, dekhenge. I do what I can do. But can I transform this thought that I'll be completely fine because the God touch is with me? Can I be so sure in my faith? And I'll be completely fine because divine knows the best for me? The thing is that we don't reaffirm and we are not sure of it because mostly we are just running after our selfish agendas. And in there we have this knowing that the divine is not with me. That is what we think. So we fall down on our nose many a times of running after our own agendas, which is good. Because only after falling down I realized that I was just running madly after my own agenda, which was not needed. And once I kind of give myself to the divine, then the divine only takes care of me. Even if I have to, die of a virus, fine. So that kind of a strength comes only when I live more and more in my higher possibility. I am not giving in to the darkness and the inconscience of thoughts all around me and within myself. Let them be. You do your work. Your work is of transformation. A dog cannot transform his life. Human beings can. So what is the difference between my life and a dog's life? I would say at the moment, dog's life is a much better life. He is not scared of corona. Much better life lived in faith and surrender. Even if he has to die, he will die. He is not living for his selfish motives. So what is our capacity? We have completely forgotten our capacity. And when people in your life remind you of your capacity, when words, when books, when words of saints in our lives remind us of our capacity, give them some time. And don't shoo the God touch away. When we don't miss out on eating our regular cup of coffee, regular cup of tea, why to miss out on God touch? And that touch has the capacity to even transform the mechanical routines to divine routines. Just speaking it out of my own felt experiences, that even the routines have the capacity to come closer to a higher light. So that it's not a senseless routine anymore, but even through a routine, you are serving the divine. Why not that when it is available to us? This is what being human is. And if we have not lived this in this life, I don't know what we are here for. No clue. So, yeah. So let's take up these two lines, whoever can read. Yes, Radhanaji.
hope stored in that hardly, a hope stored in that hardly dare to be amid the night's forlorn indifference.
Yeah, thank you. Now what is happening? So this light is now being shown to me. This light of the dawn, beautiful dawn, the splendor of the dawn. Each dawn is so unique in its own colors. Now through this dawn, a hope, as if it's like coming like a thief. It's hope stole in like a thief. It comes in very silently. You don't even realize what has happened in your life. That hardly dare to be. Now why is it coming so silently? Because the hold of ignorance for now is very, very strong. If I completely show myself in my whole splendor, the unconscious is not that ready. So I have to come like a thief. No one should know that I am coming. A hope stole in that hardly dared to be. So there is a hesitancy in that hope. Why hesitancy? Because we are not yet ready to receive all the grace and light. And that is why it's not very sure of its coming. But it's coming. Right? Comes like a thief, very, very quietly. And now, amid the night's forlorn indifference. Now, the night of the darkness is very indifferent. It doesn't give at all a look to the hope. Maybe a sarcasm, kya kar lega types, because of the hold of asura, the hold of night, the darkness in my life is very strong. So this sarcasm comes, what would happen even if a small streak of ray of light comes in my life? Nothing will change. So that indifference is there. And even owing to that indifference, even the indifference is there, even then the hope manages to steal in its way, to in a hush kind of enter, as if solicited in an alien world with timid and hazardous instinctive grace, orphaned and driven out to seek a home, an errant marvel with no place to live. So this is the reference to that hope now which has come, which is very shy, very timid, with timid and hazardous instinctive grace. Now hazardous instinctive, this instinct, if the instincts that we have as human beings, they are very, very strong feelings in themselves. You have an instinct that this must be done. I must seek out for help, or maybe I must help a friend. Instinct comes. And it's a very strong, overwhelming feeling. But it's very feeble also in nature. It's very feeble. And also, like if I can say timid, because it's not sure whether it will be heard or not. Amongst the clamor of ego, the clamor of noise of patterns, the clamor of mechanical routines, it's not very sure of itself, but it's there. And as if it is coming in a alien world. ये जो हमारी जो दुनिया है of tendencies, following a mechanical nature, 50 years of my life I have been following it. As if in this alien world, something of the divine, something of some other world, heavenly world now comes. As if, imagine that there is a alien now in this world there where we live. It's feeling very secluded. There is no one that it knows. Nobody knows its language. So as that alien, this hope comes into our world. As if solicited in an alien world. Just a second. Yeah. So now, as if it has been sent to this alien world to beg for attention. to seek, crave, beg for attention in this alien world. Now I am living a life which is full of my own agendas, plans, and in that this light comes, this hope comes, instinct comes, and poor fellow it thinks यार मतलब आ कहाँ के गया, मतलब क्यों भेजा गया मुझे यहाँ पे, कोई सुनने को तो तैयार ही नहीं है मेरी बात, तो मैं क्यों जाऊँ. But it still comes because it has been sent as a messenger, and it comes with its unasserting voice. It comes, and it still stays. Maybe somebody gives it attention, that the attention it seeks, the message that it wants to give to us. So it stays, but it's very shy, it's timid, it's begging. Now what happens? Orphaned and driven out. So अब क्या हुआ है? This hope is coming from the divine. The hope is coming from the higher possibilities. So imagine that the higher possibility is its home, and now as if somebody has pushed it out of its home, orphaned, and now it is seeking another home. Orphaned and driven out to seek a home. कौन है जो मेरी बात सुनेगा? कोई तो होगा जो मुझे attention देगा. Somebody would be there who will embrace this instinct, this hope, this ray of light that I bring. Somebody would be there, right? An errant marvel with no place to live. Now look at the pathetic condition. It is a marvel, something really beautiful, which is now wondering how to find a place. No place to live. Each one of us, each human being is trapped in its own ego, in its own things to do, the agendas, the plan. And poor fellow, this instinct, ray of light, comes showing our higher possibility, but no one is there to give it attention. Everyone is lost in their own worlds. So it says it's an errant marvelous being, but it has still no place to live in this obscure, sleepy world. So imagine you are sleeping on your bed, the rays of the dawn, the light, mild lights of the dawn come through the glass windows, and you don't want to wake up. होगा कोई वंडर होगा अपने में, मुझे तो अपनी नींद बहुत प्यारी है. So this is how light comes in our life. It's not very assertive in nature. Ego is assertive in nature. The divine light is very subtle. It will not push. Owing to the free will, we have all the freedom to choose when I want to wake up. So never pushes. Gives its message and then goes back in the backdrop. If someone is there to recognize, it recognizes and embraces. If someone is not there, it goes on back in the backdrop, and maybe, later when the time is ripe, come again, show its face. Yeah. An errant marvel with no place to live, into a far off nook of heaven, there came a slow, miraculous gesture's dim appeal. Now this ray of light has a very intense, transfiguring power. It's full of grace. Okay, Taru says she cannot see the screen. Can rest of you see the screen? Okay. Taru, maybe adjust something. Yeah, okay. Just a second. Okay, Reggie can see it. So let me see if I can, maybe this is.
You go that would log out and log in. Sorry, I didn't realize it was just me. You go on.
Acha, acha, okay. I'm not able to paste it. Okay. So, yeah, where was I? Into a far off nook of heaven there came a slow, miraculous gesture's dim appeal. Now, this is again referring to that little ray of hope, the light of dawn that has come into my life, which is seeking for attention, begging for attention, and it's a very, dim appeal in nature. Although it is miraculous, the gesture, a slow, miraculous gesture's dim appeal. The appeal is not very loud. It's not very jataka in nature, if I can say. It's a very mild, subtle appeal that presents itself with when this light comes into my being. But owing to the grace that it has, because of it's coming from the divine origins, it is able to persuade the dark, hopeless night to something more. It is able to persuade, because earlier also we saw that nature says, okay, I am ready to collaborate. It convinced the nature's disillusioned breasts. So because of that miraculous grace that it has, although it is dim in appeal, but the appeal stays with you. You cannot ignore it. Now look back at your own lives. If you are silent sometimes, and look back what happened throughout these years, all those little moments of light where a higher possibilities was shown to you will pop up in your memory. So although they were very subtle in nature, they haven't lost space in your memory. So because of the touch of the divine grace, they were coming from a higher possibility, right? So they don't have to be loud in nature or assertive in nature. Yeah. So if someone can, let me color and then we can go ahead. I don't know why I'm not able to use the, yeah, here. So anyone, if Taru, can you see the screen now? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
I said I can now.
You can, okay. Okay. तो पढ़ो फिर.
And the persistent thrill of a transfiguring touch persuaded the inert black quietude, and beauty and wonder disturbed the fields of God. A wandering hand of pale, enchanted light that glowed along a fading moment's brink.
Okay. So now this dawn is very persistent. It comes every day, it comes. So cosmologically, physically we see that every day dawn is coming. It never get tired and says, oh, human beings don't get up, I am not going to kind of, go there and do my work. So it's very persistent. And just like that, if we look at dawns in human evolution, they have been very persistent. No matter how many darknesses as human beings we have gone through, dawns have been coming and will keep on coming. As long as darkness is there, dawns will also keep on coming. So this is a very persistent thing. It kind of persists. It does not cease to exist. The persistent thrill of a transfiguring touch, owing to the grace of the divine. Now when dawn comes, it is full of awe and wonder. If one really wakes up some morning to look at the dawn, chirping of the bird, the freshness in the air, just a light sensation around this time called dawn. And it is actually transfiguring in nature, owing to the grace of the divine. Just like that, all the moments in our lives where light has been shown to us, even now when light is shown to me, it has a transfiguring power because it is coming from the power of love. The divine is love manifest. So when anything comes from power of love, only that has the capacity to transfigure, to change, to transform. In love, we do things which we are not usually capable of doing. If I really love someone, for him or her, I would do, even cross my boundaries, which I was not able to do earlier. So love, divine grace, divine love has that ability of transfiguring, transformation. Only love has that capacity. Persuaded the inert black quietude. So now this grace, the divine love and grace, is now able to persuade even the black, inert, passive quietude to transform. So जो रात थी अभी तक घनेरी रात, owing to the touch of divine grace and love, that रात, the night has been persuaded to transform. प्यार से, पुचकार के, not giving up. Love doesn't give up. For example, this just like today, Taru said, call up Shreya. And I said, Shreya knows that we have a call, she should come. And Taru said, ki, yaad dila do. This is love. So just like we call people for going to an entertainment, or if I'm going to a fair or a TV show or a movie, what you do is chalna, please chalna. You kind of persuade people to go. So why not for these things? Why not for these kind of joys as well? So I found it really beautiful that it was just a push, a slight call, and here we have the divine grace with us, in form of all of us. So this persuasion is only possible by the divine power of love. It is not possible by any other darkness or negativity. This love of the dawn, the light of the dawn, persuaded the inert darkness to transform. Now this we can also relate with our own movements. When I see some movements within me need transformation, what do? I don't have to give up. Slowly, gradually, keep attention, giving it embrace, giving it care, that yes, you can change. And I don't give up, because I love myself so much that I don't give up. I know my higher possibilities. I don't give up. No matter how many times I keep on falling on my nose. And beauty and wonder disturbed the fields of God. Now the fields of God referring to the sky. And when the colors of the dawn become, they kind of appear on the canvas of sky, it's as if it's also disturbing in nature. जो अभी तक बिल्कुल neutral, empty, still था, बिल्कुल dark, अब उस पे colors आने लग गए हैं. And just like that, my own life, what was so far lifeless, soulless, now it has begun picking up colors in my life. Like I see some life in my life, so far which was a dead life. And beauty and wonder disturbed the field of God. Why disturb? Because initially it is disturbing in nature. I have to change my schedules around it. I have to change my plans of lives around it, right? So if light has to come in my life, I have to, do here and there with my old routines. So I have to be flexible, I have to be plastic. And that is why in the beginning it can be disturbing in nature. A wandering hand of pale, enchanted light that glowed along a fading moment's brink, fixed with gold panel and opalescent hinge, a gate of dreams ajar on mystery's verge. Now, what is happening? Again, referring to the vision of dawn, if you can all imagine it, a wandering hand of a pale, enchanted light. Now, this light is coming from the divine origins, but it's pale in nature, it's not very loud in nature. That glowed along a fading moment's brink. Now, this moment is very temporary, it will just disappear like that. But it shows me something, as if it's giving me a window to something. So, this hand of this enchanted light, it comes and as if it opens a new world to me. It shows me things which are possible. This thing fixed with gold panel and opalescent hinge, a gate of dreams ajar on mystery's verge. Ajar means half open. So as if this pale light, the hand of light, imagine hand of light is now opening a door. And where is this door leading to? This is opening up to a world of mystery, a world which I have not even known so far. And I'm just given a glimpse of this world, not much. And it's a very fading moment. It's a very temporary glimpse that I've been given. But it is being granted to me. So there are moments in our lives, owing to such divine grace, when it dawns in our lives, we are shown, at least through a window, a little possibility towards a life which is anew, afresh each day. Whether I walk upon it or not, that's a different thing. But the divine does its task of showing it to me, revealing it to me, a higher life which is possible. So this is what this pale enchanted light is doing in the dawn time. By the colors of the dawn, by the the feel and sense around the dawn, it's as if it's showing me a little window into a mysterious world which is not yet accessible to me. A gate of dreams, half open gate, which was so far closed. Now as if, darshan is happening. I have been given a small little chance to peep through on mystery's verge, a world full of mystery, and I have been given a chance to see. One lucent corner windowing hidden things, forced the world's blind immensity to sight. Now, owing to this beauty, the wonder, the quietude during the dawn time, and owing to this little half open door that has been now shown to me, it's as if this little corner which is now lit up, lucent, full of light, it's as if through that light it's windowing all the hidden possibilities that are possible. So through that little window of dawn, that ray of light in my life, I am given a glimpse of all the hidden, so far hidden possibilities. Force the world's blind immensity. Now the blindness of our routines, the blindness of our the tamas, the blindness of our plans and ego's trap, that blindness, even that blindness is now forced, because this divine grace is hard to ignore. You cannot ignore it. And then darkness failed in that moment when light is coming in my life. In that very moment, as if darkness fails and slipped like a falling cloak. Imagine Vishnuji, lying in that Letawa posture, a reclining posture. And now, as if there is a blanket over him, a dark blanket. And as he gets up a little, that blanket, falls from him, the blanket of darkness. So, as the goddess of dawn arrives in the sky, the darkness fails in front of this divine grace and slips like a falling cloak from the reclining body of a god, referring to the goddess of dawn, Usha, Savitri, and light, divine grace. So, in front of divine grace, even for a moment, the darkness is bound to fail. In other moment, it may come back again. That's a different thing altogether. But in that moment, when the divine grace is consciously visible to all of us in our own ways, darkness fails and slips like a falling cloak. Yeah, I think I would like to do just until here today. And if you have anything, we can take questions now and comments or any lines which you want to go over again.
I would like to ask, okay? I think it will get clear, I think, once we go on, but we're talking about dawn, and after dawn we have a day full of light.
जी
जिस तरह से बोला जा रहा है, ऐसे लग रहा है कि अभी जो है वो चला जाएगा.
जी
Right?
जी
It's just for a small thing. So it's like when it's fully light, you can't see again.
yeah it'll come, Taru, it'll come, this thing now. So I don't want to talk about it now, because then it'll be a surprise already revealed. But yes, it's a beautiful point, and it'll come through some lines later. What happens when the sky is now full of light? Then what happens? Yeah. Anybody else? Anything?
Feeling a bit like we need to go back to, read it again, obviously, which I didn't.
Yes.
But sometimes, like when I'm hearing, it's like the intensity. It's like, okay, light is there and it's amazing, and then it's like it's dull, and I feel there's a lot of variation in the intensity of, like, ekdam se it feels it's too much, like it's everything is amazing and it's beautiful, and then either maybe it's like whenever they are probably talking about the soul, then it gets dull, and otherwise it's very bright in itself. So I feel, for me, I felt like today I had that kind of contradiction, how it's kind of too much and then it does, and too much and does.
I'm not very sure if I understand what you're saying. If you can just come again in some other form. I couldn't get it.
The light is coming, right?
Yeah.
In sense, there's something that's approaching, that's something that has been sent.
Yes.
In some lines, I felt it was enormous, right?
Yeah.
Like what has come is enormous. But then still, it's like, it's shy, it's hidden, it's sure of itself, it has no hope.
Okay.
So
Okay.
somehow I felt there was a bit of, like, I felt it was not uniform, but I'm sure because it was based on where it is when, right? Point of context probably was changing.
Yes.
And why it was.
Yeah.
But I had issue in kind of keeping track today
Okay.
of the intensity of the events that were happening were going up and down.
Yeah, quite possible. And also, one has to realize that uh, these lines are coming from where we don't even, we cannot even fathom where they are coming from. So many a times it may happen that we don't get to the depth of the line, and that is why Savitri is something, it's like it slowly get revealed to us. So there may be a few lines which are more easily revelatory for us at the moment, and there may be some lines, the if I'm not able to feel the enormity of it, or maybe up down jo aap feel kar rahe ho, there may be that at some other point in my life, when it gets revealed to me, then I can touch that depth. Yeah. So I'm sure, that variation is possible. So Aradhana ji is saying, when the sky is full of light, then again there is darkness. Where, at what point, Aradhana ji? I'm just reading out your question. You are saying, when the sky is full of light, then again there is darkness. What point you are referring to?
मैं तरु की बात से, जब तरु बोर्ड थी ना, जब
हाँ,
आप इमीडिएटली मैंने लिखा, बट आपने कहा कि आगे इट विल रिवील.
ओ अच्छा, ओके, आई मिस
तो
दैट.
मैं जस्ट वही वंडर कर रही थी. सो देन अगेन,
Yeah.
after the light, is
जी,
there a possibility of
जी,
the
जी.
darkness coming again, or is it light and light and light?
Yes. Actually, this will be revealed to us later when the sun is completely out and it's the light, the day is completely bright. Then what is the thing? It will be revealed later to us. So I'll take it up later. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So one thing which I want to say is, one has to stay with these lines more and more, because only reading once and just then going away and then reading once in a while, we lose the touch somehow. So for example, the first page that we went through, the first page, it was the hour before the gods awake. Go over the lines again, maybe when you are alone in silence, and then we also find a connection, what is happening. The connection is also found when we are able to be with it. So if I am just touching it once in a while, then I'll not be able to feel connected to the intensity of the lines at all. And there are a few lines to which I may not connect, but there will be many lines which will become more revelatory to me. They will be kind of revealed to me. But if I don't give myself time to sit with it, I cannot imagine for a miracle to happen. So just like rest, everything needs effort, this also needs a bit of effort and love. One has to be with the mother and ask mother to show the light of Savitri to me, and then sit with Savitri. Without mother's grace, these will be just lines for us and nothing else. And we have had enough lines in our life so far. So hope that Savitri's lines are not just one of those lines from the past. Yeah.
The same thing,
Yeah.
because I don't know, it's not an excuse, but अगर आप say, what is an ideal, say if we talk about say homework, right? Like
जी.
okay, this is like session and then we have to prepare for the next thing.
जी.
If you can get some kind of, I don't know, your suggestion or guideline, okay, after every class, at least the last class one needs to go through. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm calling it a class or a session. But आपके हिसाब से what would be the minimum, or the what is it that would be good, like going to the last and we should be reading the ones that will be covering maybe the next 12-20 lines, or what, like ऐसे हिसाब से कुछ आप बोल सकते हैं?
Yeah, so one thing is for sure, that one has to recap. For example, what we are, the paragraphs, the lines that we touched today, just go through them again. Maybe something new, gets revealed to you. So, and what I do usually for myself is, I go back to the old paragraphs in between, whenever I feel like. So for example, if I am studying for the next session, then I would overlap my session, upcoming session, with the previous session as well, so that a continuity is maintained. So when you are, for example, coming from the next session, for the next section next week, all these lines that we have covered today, go through them once again. Be in touch with them, because then I will have no idea what is the scene that Sri Aurobindo wants to put in front of us. I'm totally eluded from that scene of the movie. It's like a movie, it's also a lot of imagery that is happening. So if I just blindly come from my daily routines just straight to the Savitri class, then I may be little here and there. But if I have a touch with the previous lines, then I am able to see that continuity, and I am also able to delve deeper into it. So give yourself a little time to sit with the lines which we have done in the previous session. And if you want to take some lines which we have not yet touched, you're always welcome to do that. Nobody can stop. It's beautiful that you are called to read those lines. So just go ahead. There is no syllabus in Savitri. Just go with the mother and in the flow. Yeah, thank you, Taru. Thanks for asking this, because I think all of us can maybe learn from this. The question that you asked, that we must be if we it's completely our choice. If I want to be with Savitri, understand it by mother's grace, and to look at the beauty that it wants to give to us, then it's very, very important that I sit with it. Imagine that there is something beautiful in your life and you don't give it time to sit with it. How would the beauty seep into your life? So if you find anything beautiful, if you are finding Savitri beautiful, if you are finding yourself an inclination towards Savitri's beauty, give yourself time to sit with it. Just that is required, nothing else is required. Rest all is very flexible. You can go to book 7, Canto 7, wherever you want to go, and touch the previous lines that we discussed. Anything is fine. Yeah, just sit with it. Invoke mother.